In today's economic climate, that feeling of uncertainty, it really does feel like this heavy fog, doesn't it? Especially if you're thinking about starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this great vision, this real drive, but then you look at the headlines, you see the markets going up and down, and that huge challenge, risk versus reward in an unstable economy, it just feels like this massive mountain.
Yeah, it can seem overwhelming.
So the question is, how do you even begin to climb that mountain when, the ground feels like it's constantly shifting under your feet?
That's exactly the landscape we're trying to map out here in this deep dive. We've pulled together insights from some really powerful sources, including one that's been called basically a blueprint to business mastery.
Okay.
And the goal isn't just about, surviving the economic pressures, just battening down the hatches. It's about understanding not just what moves to make, but fundamentally why they matter.
Right.
So it gives you a kind of strategic shortcut to building real, lasting longevity into your business, even when things look, consistently uncertain.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because it sounds, completely counterintuitive maybe. But our sources keep pointing to this really interesting paradox.
Which is?
That economic downturns, believe it or not, can actually be really fertile ground for opportunity. I mean, think about it.
Okay.
Companies like Airbnb, Uber, Slack, huge names. Now, they didn't just get through recessions, they were literally burned during them.
It's a great point. It really is.
It's just such a powerful reminder that adversity isn't always just a roadblock. It can actually be the springboard for innovation if you know how to look at it.
Absolutely. And what really comes through is this idea where most people see just hardship. The truly resilient entrepreneurs, they see strategic leverage.
Mm-hmm.
The core qualities for those who not only get through, but actually thrive in unstable times are pretty clear. They need to be deeply adaptable, very calculated, and incredibly resourceful.
Adaptable feels key there.
It really is.
Yes.
Adaptability isn't just about reacting when something shifts. It's more about proactively building flexibility into how you operate from the start.
Okay. It's like designing your business so that making a quick pivot isn't a total crisis, but more like activating a pre-planned module.
Yeah.
It lets you adjust fast to new economic realities and find creative solutions to problems as they pop up.
And surely a massive part of that flexibility has to connect directly to understanding how customers are changing their behavior, right?
Definitely.
When the economy tightens up, consumer spending almost always follows. People get more careful, they prioritize essentials, and they actively look for cost-effective, high-value stuff.
Yeah, value becomes paramount.
Which means for your business, you absolutely have to double down on understanding what your customers need now, how those needs are evolving. Honestly, if you're not doing careful market research in times like these, you're basically flying blind.
And bringing that right back to the heart of any business cash flow. Cash flow management becomes, just absolutely critical when economic conditions get volatile.
That makes sense. The blueprint really hammers home adopting a lean approach. That means scrutinizing every expense, minimizing anything unnecessary, strategically negotiating better deals with your suppliers, and being really quite ruthless about optimizing inventory.
So trimming the fat.
Exactly. And ultimately, having a solid cash reserve or a well-funded emergency account, it isn't just nice to have. Often, it's the single thing that differentiates between weathering the storm and having to shut down completely.
Something else our sources pointed out, which I thought was fascinating, is what they call one of the most overlooked advantages of a downturn.
Oh, what?
An unexpected increase in access to critical resources. Think about it. When the market cools off, commercial real estate prices often drop.
Right, making space more affordable.
Exactly. And similarly, talent often becomes more available because of layoffs. So entrepreneurs can suddenly attract really skilled people who might have been out of reach during boom times.
That's a really good point. Access to talent is huge.
And surprisingly, even specific government programs and grants often become more accessible, offering financial help right when you need it most.
So, okay, you've got these external pressures, changing customer needs. How do you talk to your audience during these sensitive times? Your branding, your messaging, it absolutely has to reflect the current economic mood.
Tone deafness is a killer.
Totally. Businesses need to focus really hard on building trust, being completely transparent, especially about pricing, and consistently showing genuine, undeniable value. If a company seems out of touch with what people are going through economically, they risk alienating even their most loyal customers. It's all about empathy and clear communication.
Precisely. And, just on a human level, networking and really engaging with your community play such important roles for entrepreneurs trying to navigate tough times.
Yeah, that connection matters.
Actively connecting with other business owners, with people in your industry, that can lead to strategic partnerships, maybe sharing resources, or even sparking totally new opportunities you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Okay, so moving from those kind of broader economic pressures, let's maybe zero in on one specific relentless challenge. Inflation.
Ah, yes, the big one.
Yeah. A key takeaway here is understanding that inflation isn't just a number you see on the news. It touches literally every part of your business.
How so?
Well, when prices go up across the board, the cost of your goods, your services, your labor, it all increases. And that often cuts directly into your profit margins, which might already be tight. It's a force that really demands proactive strategies.
So inflation's hitting hard. What's the first big strategy the blueprint suggests for businesses to not just cope, but actually fight back against these rising costs?
The number one strategy highlighted is diversifying your revenue streams.
Okay.
Think about, say, a retail business that only sells physical items. They're immediately vulnerable if their supplier costs shoot up.
Right. All their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. But if that same business strategically adds maybe some digital products, or perhaps a subscription service, or even some niche consulting based on their expertise.
Ah, they're spreading the risk.
Precisely. They've built this multi-layered income defense. It lets them absorb rising costs in one area because they have other income sources cushioning the blow.
And beyond just diversifying income, the blueprint really doubles down on keeping that cash flow solid, emphasizing optimizing how you manage your money.
Absolutely critical.
What seems implied here is that having decent cash reserves, that financial cushion, it lets your business handle unexpected price hikes without making panicked, short-sighted decisions that could hurt you long term. It's about having foresight, not just reacting.
And when it comes down to actual pricing, the sources talk about something called value-based pricing.
Okay, what's that?
It's not just adding a standard markup to your costs. It's about aligning your prices with the value your customer perceives they're getting from your product or service.
So time, price to benefit.
Exactly. And then there's also tiered pricing,
right,
where you offer different levels, maybe a basic, standard, premium version at different price points.
Right, options.
The strategic goal for both is, yes, maintain profitability, but do it without scaring off your audience by just slapping on higher prices without a clear reason.
Strong relationships with suppliers also come up as a key tool for managing costs when inflation is high.
Definitely.
Cultivating those partnerships means you might be able to negotiate better terms, maybe lock in bulk pricing, or even quickly find alternative suppliers if your main ones get too expensive. Those relationships can be a real anchor when costs get unpredictable.
And during inflationary times, customer loyalty, it becomes absolutely non-negotiable. You cannot afford to lose loyal customers.
So how do you keep them?
Well, the blueprint stresses proactive strategies. Things like loyalty programs, really personalized marketing efforts, and being super transparent and honest in your communication about any price changes you have to make.
Makes sense. Build that trust.
Exactly. Because in an environment where people are being more selective with their money, those efforts are what maintain trust and keep customers coming back long term.
It really does all connect. And crucially, our sources point out that technology and automation aren't just about convenience anymore. They're actually valuable tools for lessening inflation's impact.
How so?
Well, this isn't just about going digital for the sake of it. It's about strategically investing in tech that can maybe reduce labor costs while at the same time maintaining or even boosting efficiency.
Streamlining things.
Yeah, streamlining workflows, ultimately lowering your operating expenses over time, that directly pushes back against rising costs elsewhere.
And tying this whole section together, the blueprint strongly advises constantly monitoring macroeconomic trends.
So, keeping an eye on the big picture.
Precisely. It's not just an academic thing. It's about staying really informed about inflation rates, interest rates, government policy changes. Having that proactive knowledge lets you anticipate potential problems and pivot before they become huge threats, rather than just reacting when things get tough.
That idea of resilience naturally brings us to the power of having multiple income streams. Our sources really emphasize this as a super effective way to hedge against both inflation and just general economic uncertainty. The basic truth is, for your business, just relying on one single source of revenue in today's unpredictable world, it's just inherently risky.
It really is. And the blueprint clarifies something important here.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily about launching completely new, unrelated businesses that just scatter your focus.
Right, not spreading yourself too thin.
Exactly. Instead, it's about strategically using your existing skills, your current assets, your established business model to create complementary revenue streams. Think of it like intelligently layering your income, not just piling on more random work.
Okay, so the blueprint actually breaks down the different types of income streams, which is super helpful for planning this out.
Yeah, it does.
First, there's active income. This is the stuff that needs your direct, ongoing effort, like consulting, freelancing, running a service business. You work, you get paid.
Standard model for many.
Then you've got passive income. This is the kind that after you put in the initial work or investment, generates money with minimal ongoing effort. Think things like rental income, book royalties, affiliate marketing, selling digital products. Sort of set it and mostly forget it.
Relatively speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Lower ongoing effort.
And distinct from those, there's scalable income.
The holy grail for some.
Right. This category really taps into a multiplying effect. It takes effort up front to build the system, like creating an online course or a software as a service, a SaaS platform.
Sure, significant initial work.
But then that single effort can serve potentially thousands or even tens of thousands of customers without you needing to manually deliver it each time. It offers that potential for exponential growth without your workload increasing proportionally.
That's the key difference. Leverage.
So the blueprint then gives some really practical ways to leverage your existing business for these extra income streams. For example, thinking about strategic product expansion, maybe offering premium versions or bundles or related accessories.
Upselling and cross-selling.
Exactly. There's also the power of subscription models for that recurring revenue, which is huge. Or exploring affiliate partnerships, earning commissions by promoting other complementary businesses to your audience.
Smart collaboration.
Some businesses even find success franchising or licensing their proven model, or even just renting out assets your business already owns but isn't using fully, like maybe some specialized equipment or extra office space.
That raises a really important question, though.
Yeah.
How do you manage all this diversification without, as you said, spreading yourself dangerously thin?
Yeah. That's the rest.
And the blueprint wisely warns against that. It really emphasizes that the key is to build these income streams strategically, like one by one.
Start small, build out.
Pretty much. Always start with a strong foundation in your core area before you gradually, deliberately expand into others. The real focus should be on maximizing your overall efficiency and profitability by picking streams that really align well with the skills and resources you already have. Don't chase shiny objects.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Let's tackle a really common myth. The idea that starting a business has to cost a fortune.
Yeah, that stops a lot of people.
It does. But our sources make it crystal clear that building a thriving business with minimal upfront cash is not only possible, but sometimes it's actually a strategic advantage. It forces you to be lean and smart right from the beginning.
And what's really impressive is just the sheer variety of low-cost business ideas the blueprint lays out. For service-based stuff, it champions roles like freelancing, consulting, tutoring, virtual assistants.
Things you can do from home often.
Exactly. Many require a little more than your expertise, a computer, and a decent internet connection. For people leaning towards digital products, the options are huge, writing ebooks, creating online courses, offering paid webinars.
And e-commerce.
For e-commerce, dropshipping is a classic low-cost model. You sell products without actually holding any inventory yourself. Or affiliate marketing, earning commissions just by using your social media or blog to refer sales.
What about making physical things?
Even there. For creative types, platforms like Etsy or Redbubble open doors for selling handmade goods or using print-on-demand services with very little upfront cost.
Okay.
Then there's the whole gig economy, using platforms like TaskRabbit, Upwork, Fiverr to monetize skills you already have almost immediately.
So many options.
And don't forget traditional local services. Things like pet sitting, house cleaning, lawn care, mobile car detailing still in demand, often low startup costs. Even specialized services like social media management or digital marketing support for other businesses, hugely in demand. Minimal overhead.
Wow.
For recurring revenue, subscription boxes or services are powerful. And even just flipping items for profit, finding undervalued secondhand furniture, vintage clothes, electronics, that's a proven model too. Oh, and content creation. Monetizing YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, low entry cost, massive potential reach.
So, okay, lots of ideas there. bringing this back to you, the aspiring entrepreneur, the blueprint kind of boils down the key to success for these low-cost models to three main things.
Which are?
First, meticulously finding a specific niche where there's proven demand. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Second, smartly leveraging the skills you already possess. And third, using really strategic, efficient marketing to reach that specific audience without wasting money. It's basically about being super smart and incredibly resourceful.
Which ties back to that resilience theme again. Now, adapting to consumer spending trends. This isn't just a nice to have. It's absolutely fundamental for survival and growth. Consumer patterns are always evolving, right?
Constantly changing.
They're shaped by big economic shifts, cultural changes, new technology. Businesses that really get ahead are the ones that don't just react. They actually try to anticipate these shifts in behavior and adjust what they offer accordingly.
And it's complex, isn't it? You've got economic factors like inflation, interest rates, the job market. They all directly impact how much money people have to spend.
Purchasing power, yeah.
But beyond that, technology plays such a huge role now in how people decide what to buy. I mean, e-commerce, mobile shopping, all those subscription services, they've fundamentally changed how we interact with businesses.
And you also have to consider generational differences, right?
Absolutely.
Different age groups.
Yeah.
You know, baby boomers versus millennials or Gen Z, they prioritize their spending very differently. Their values, their life stage, how comfortable they are with tech, it all plays a part. Understanding those nuances is key for tailoring your products and your message so it actually resonates.
And thinking a bit bigger picture, the COVID-19 pandemic clearly left a huge lasting mark on spending habits.
Definitely accelerated some trends.
Massively. Trends like remote work, online shopping, home entertainment, they just exploded. And it seems consumers became much more mindful about their purchases, really focusing on essentials, self-care, and getting good value.
And related to that mindfulness, what's really interesting is the continued rise of ethical and sustainable consumerism.
People care more about where their money goes.
Exactly. Businesses that genuinely integrate eco-friendly practices or source fair trade products or demonstrate real social responsibility. They aren't just doing good deeds, they're actually gaining a competitive edge because more and more consumers are making buying decisions based on these deeper values.
So, with all these moving parts, how do you stay on top of it? The answer seems to be continuous market research and really leveraging data analytics.
You have to keep your finger on the pulse.
You just have to gather those real-time insights from customer feedback, from industry reports, from watching your competitors to make informed, agile decisions. You can't guess anymore.
And this all feeds directly back into your pricing strategies too. When you see consumers becoming more cost-conscious, maybe you strategically offer bundles or targeted discounts or flexible payment options.
Meet them where they are.
Right. Conversely, if consumers seem willing to spend more in certain areas, maybe premium offerings or exclusive services could work well. And we're definitely seeing the explosion of things like buy now, pay later services, digital wallets, alternative financing, all signals that payment preferences themselves are evolving rapidly.
Okay, now let's talk about the gig economy. It feels like it's moved beyond just being a side hustle for extra cash. Our sources actually frame it as a potential strategic tool for stability.
Yeah, that's a significant shift in perspective.
What are the main advantages driving that shift?
Well, a key takeaway is the huge advantage of flexibility the gig economy offers. But also, it provides this incredibly low barrier way to rigorously test out new business ideas.
How so?
By using established platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, TaskRabbit, you can offer a new service or concept and see if it gets traction without needing a massive upfront investment. It's like a dynamic proving ground.
And it's not just for individuals, right? Businesses can benefit too.
Absolutely. Businesses can really benefit by strategically tapping into the gig economy for talent. It's often a remarkably cost-effective way to scale operations up or down quickly.
Flexibility in hiring.
Exactly. You get access to specialized skills for specific projects without the long-term financial commitment and overhead of hiring full-time employees. It allows for incredible agility.
Okay, but it's not all roses, is it? The blueprint must mention the downsides, too.
Oh, definitely. It's important to acknowledge the challenges. Gig workers often face income inconsistency, which can be stressful. There's usually a lack of traditional benefits like health insurance or retirement plans. And then there are the complexities of handling self-employment taxes.
So what's the advice for navigating those?
It's crucial for gig workers to be proactive. That means budgeting carefully for that irregular income, maybe diversifying the types of gigs they take on so they're not reliant on one source, and being really diligent about setting aside money for taxes and building an emergency fund.
So whether you're the gig worker or the business using gig workers, building a strong personal or company brand seems essential in that space.
Absolutely critical. In a crowded marketplace, having a strong online presence, carefully managing your reputation, and collecting positive reviews and testimonials, that's what makes you stand out.
It sounds like the overall message then is to approach gig work strategically, not just as a random safety net.
Precisely. The blueprint advises taking a deliberate approach. That means setting clear financial goals for your gig work, mastering effective time management because you're often juggling multiple things, and carefully choosing gigs that genuinely align with your core skills and your longer-term ambitions.
And technology must play a role here too for efficiency.
For sure. Things like smart scheduling apps, easy-to-use invoicing software, they can make a huge difference. But beyond the tech, meticulous financial planning, thinking about taxes, insurance, having that savings buffer is really vital for long-term security in the gig economy.
Okay, let's shift focus now specifically to fortifying your business finances, especially thinking about recessions. The sources dig into how to actually survive a recession as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the underlying message isn't just doom and gloom. It's that recessions, while obviously tough, also act as these catalysts that create unique opportunities, but only for those who are agile and willing to adapt.
So what's the very first key to navigating, let alone surviving, a recession, according to the blueprint?
Unsurprisingly, it comes back to cash flow, an unwavering commitment to managing cash flow wisely.
Being meticulous.
Absolutely meticulous about your finances. That means ruthlessly cutting any non-essential expenses and strategically trying to renegotiate contracts with suppliers or landlords if possible. It's all about maximizing your financial runway, giving yourself more time.
And how does this apply specifically to startups who might not have deep pockets to begin with?
Right. For startups, a really well-thought-out budget isn't just for tracking spending. It's literally the roadmap guiding the business towards profitability and sustainability.
Oh.
And a crucial part of that is understanding the difference between your fixed costs, things like rent that stay the same, and your variable costs, like raw materials that go up or down with production. Knowing that difference is your first step in figuring out where you can cut costs without crippling your core operations.
The blueprint also strongly pushes for that lean approach for startups, doesn't it?
It does. Starting with minimal expenses, really rigorously testing the market to see what works, and only scaling up your operations after you have proven undeniable demand.
So practical examples.
Things like embracing remote work from the start, or using cost-effective co-working spaces instead of locking into expensive long-term office leases. It's all about being nimble and really capital efficient.
That begs the question then, for new entrepreneurs, what shouldn't you spend money on early on, especially if times are tight?
Yeah, common pitfalls. The blueprint specifically warns against overspending on non-essential, flashy things like maybe a super elaborate, fancy website before you've actually nailed your product market fit.
Get the core offering right first.
Exactly. The absolute priority has to be proving your concept works and starting to generate actual revenue. Everything else can wait.
Now, marketing. During tough times, it often feels like the first thing to cut. But the sources seem to argue against that.
Strongly argue against it. They say cutting marketing entirely is one of the worst moves you can make. Instead, the advice is to refine your marketing.
How?
Focus intensely on strategies known for high ROI, things like really valuable content marketing, targeted email campaigns, genuine community engagement. It's about being smarter and more efficient with your marketing spend, not just stopping altogether.
Interesting. The blueprint also seems to highlight using free or low-cost tools for basic operations.
Yeah, leveraging technology smartly. Things like QuickBooks Online or Wave accounting for managing finances, often very affordable or even free starting out. And again, your pricing strategy is critical. It has to cover all your costs and ensure a healthy profit margin. Don't underprice yourself just to get customers.
And it sounds like this isn't a one-off task. It's about building ongoing financial habits.
Absolutely. Diligently tracking and analyzing your expenses regularly. It needs to be a continuous, disciplined focus on the financial health of your business, not just something you do once a quarter.
Finally, for startups, what about funding beyond just personal savings, especially if bank loans are hard to get?
The blueprint points to several alternative options. Things like crowdfunding platforms, the path of bootstrapping funding growth purely from your own revenues, and actively searching for relevant small business grants.
Which brings us nicely to an area that feels often overlooked: government policies and business grants.
Yeah, definitely underutilized sometimes.
The sources really highlight their potential to provide that much-needed stability and, frankly, significant financial relief. It's external support that, if you know how to access it, can make a real difference.
And what stands out is how multifaceted government policies can be in their impact. It's not just taxes. It ranges from tax regulations and employment laws all the way to specific tax breaks designed to incentivize things like R&D investment or job creation. Just understanding these frameworks can strategically lower your costs or give you unexpected advantages.
And then there are the grants themselves, the really appealing part. Unlike loans, you don't have to pay them back.
That's the dream, right? Free money.
Pretty much. And the blueprint gives some solid guidance on how to actually find these grants. It suggests checking official government websites, federal, state, local, connecting with local small business development centers, and looking into industry-specific associations. It even notes there are often grants specifically targeted towards underrepresented groups, like women-owned or veteran-owned businesses.
And an important point the blueprint makes is that it's not just about the direct funding, the cash. Often, government-backed programs provide equally valuable non-monetary resources. Things like business mentorship from experienced pros, workforce training programs to upskill your team, and crucial networking opportunities. Sometimes those can be just as, if not more, valuable than the grant money itself.
Of course, it can't be that easy. The sources must mention the challenges, too.
They do. They acknowledge that the application process for grants can be notoriously time-consuming and fiercely competitive.
Lots of paperwork.
Usually, yes. And because of that, the blueprint strongly advises considering professional help, maybe from experienced business consultants or specialized grant writers, to significantly boost your chances of putting together a successful application.
But that raises a strategic question. How much should a business really rely on this kind of external support?
That's a crucial point. The blueprint is very firm on this. Government support should never be the sole pillar holding up your business strategy.
It's a supplement, not the foundation.
Exactly. It should be seen as a valuable supplementary resource. Building a strong, resilient financial foundation based on your own sound business model and strategic choices. That remains absolutely paramount regardless of what grants you might get.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Bringing this whole deep dive together, what does all this really mean for you, the entrepreneur who wants to build something that genuinely lasts?
Yeah. What's the big picture takeaway?
We've talked about resilience, inflation, income streams, lean startups, consumer trends, grants. It all seems to circle back to that ultimate goal, building a business that can actually stand the test of time.
And to kind of summarize the core principles for achieving that longevity, the blueprint powerfully loops back to several key themes that really tie everything we've discussed together.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, adaptability. We started there, and it's crucial throughout. That continuous commitment to evolving, learning, and responding effectively to change. Second, financial discipline. Not just budgeting, but smart reinvestment of profits, meticulous cash flow management, building those reserves.
Makes sense.
Third, customer loyalty. Really internalizing that keeping your existing customers happy and engaged is far more cost-effective and sustainable than constantly chasing new ones. Fourth, innovation. Not necessarily inventing the next big thing, but that relentless pursuit of improvement, always looking for ways to refine your offerings, your processes, to stay ahead.
Oh, good. What else?
Fifth, strong leadership and vision. Recognizing that, at its core, a business is only as strong and forward-thinking as the people leading it. Sixth, strategic partnerships and networking. Actively building those relationships that can open doors to new opportunities and provide collective strength. And finally, strong company culture. That underlying foundation that attracts and retains top talent, reduces costly turnover, and organically fosters a spirit of innovation from everyone involved.
It's such a powerful and, I guess, timeless reminder that building a successful business is really a continuous journey, isn't it? Not just hitting one destination.
Absolutely. We've really dug deep today into how you can not just navigate the current uncertainty, but strategically build a business designed to withstand the test of time, pulling all those insights from that powerful blueprint for mastery.
Yeah, hopefully giving you a roadmap.
Exactly. And as you think about all this, remember that core message. Real business success isn't just about those quick short-term wins. It's fundamentally about creating something truly sustainable, something impactful, and something of enduring value.
So the final thought is,
we really just encourage you, take the knowledge, the insights you've gained today, and critically, find ways to put them into action in your own venture.